Well, let's go ahead and introduce them players. Down the bottom left, doing an oh-so-delightful job of the bone crushing. In last game, it is MarineKingPrime playing under the ID MKP.
And spawning up to the top right-hand corner, our pink Terran here. One game away from being completely eliminated from IronSquid. I didn't think I'd be saying that about him, but he goes by the name of LiquidTaeja.
God, that would be painful to see Taeja just struggling so hard so many times. I mean, falling to hero again and again and again and again, and then coming here to IronSquid, losing to Brown in what many consider to be his best matchup. I mean, it's pretty brutal.
Yeah, it just seems as if I don't know what's up with Taeja and TVP right now. I mean, you can't. I suppose that's actually a false statement. You can't just say that because the caliber of Protosses he's been playing against recently has just been so good. So it is indeed definitively one of his strongest matchups, and you know he makes a very, very good meal of it. But just recently, he's been under the weather, unfortunately for Taeja.
Yeah, but that's fine. He'll end up bouncing back, no doubt, with his nice practice regimen. We already see Taeja boldly taking that fast command center right away. Really like this play. Again, under the assumption that he does something a little more defensive, like go for the double barracks play, which I do think is going to be a lot stronger in this spot. But MKP is doing aggro, balls to the wall kind of aggression again, and I think that is what makes it so MKP so difficult to play this matchup against.
Yeah,
you just don't quite know what he's going to do, and I wouldn't be surprised that if MKP lost and it went on to another game, we would see him do probably some sort of more standard-ish early expand play. And look at this, see Taeja already getting the 2 barracks. I'm so much happier with that, James.
Yeah, that's very, very good. Getting extra Marines out to deal with this tactic that we're seeing from MKP, to me, sort of.
We may have lost James, but that's fine, because as long as I am alone in a room talking to myself, I'm going to feel good. So we see the double barracks going down right now. The transition out of this for Taeja, I think, is again going to very strongly resemble something like the early Marine pressure with Medivacs transitioning into somewhat more of a standard play, and MarineKingPrime actually not going to be going for any sort of drop-type play, but instead going very swiftly for the Banshee, which, again, a really excellent play, but Taeja is kind of equipping himself to be able to deal with it. No bunker yet down now for Taeja. You don't really need the bunker in this matchup, in this position, only if your opponent is going for the reactored starport. Or excuse me, not the reactored starport, the reactored factory style. Is that really going to be a huge problem? So MKP now following it up with the good old cloaking right off the bat. This is as fast as you can get cloak reasonably. I'm sure you could do something like, you know, 9 barracks, 9 gas to get it up mega fast, but I think I like what MKP's doing. Taeja getting himself extra barracks and a factory. That's a little greedy, but I love. And I'm back. It looks like we're seeing the Marines from LiquidTaeja continue to shove back. And things are looking quite good. Are you there with me, James? Certainly not. Taeja will be able to get up a Viking quite swiftly, but still, I want to emphasize that I do like a very fast Marine pressure on this map with Medivacs. You can do that and still get a Viking up for the successful defense delay thing. Are you still on point with us, kind Sir James?
I've just joined you, so I believe you're on 622-ish?
Yeah.
Okay,
you know, I was talking a little bit about the transition that we can see out of Taeja, who's, again, just going for really nice defense, rushing up to that Viking. But I would still very much so like to see the Marine Medivac transition.
Yeah, the Marine Medevac transition can be great for Daybreak, because again, exploiting those extremities, the architecture is very good for it as long as your opponent isn't positioning themselves absolutely thoroughly, meticulously across those points. But for now, MKP going to go for his standard aggression.
And there we see MKP with that Medevac, always just sort of flirting with the idea of, hey, I could scan at any point in time, but God, Taeja got that dang starport up friggin' so fast. MarineKingPrime in the background going double armory. I don't like that in the slightest. The scan eliminates the Banshee. Banshee number 2 heading to the backside, and I just... What is going on with MarineKingPrime? What is the heck?
What is the heck? Well, I'm still a fan of mech play on this map. It can work out all right sometimes. We'll have to see how Taeja's going to react to it. Unfortunately, though, for MarineKing, his opponent hasn't quite lost as many workers this game as last game. And again, another scan, hitting off, killing off Banshee number 2? Nope, gets out of range. Okay.
Looks like the Banshee's going to be fine. He will live to see another day. The energy's still a little bit low on those, so some nice pickups from MKP to kill off those Marines, but I just don't like this double armory play. This is going to be the same problem we saw MKP have against Scarlet. Yeah, you're going to get really fast 2-2 upgrades, and then you're going to have no units.
Well, I mean, one of the things that is in favor of going for that double armory at that location is the fact that he does have his third going down in location. That's one thing that can help him out with that. But still, you're right, it can work out in a bit of an odd way, and you can find yourself a little bit behind with, you're rightly pointing out, no units. So we'll have to see how he wants to transition on from that.
Well, Sai, MarineKing now just starting his 2 factories. If we come over to Camp Taeja, Taeja is going to be able to gear up to do a push very quickly. He doesn't even really need that many units because he's going to be relying a little bit more on tank power, the Banshee of his own, the Raven. He has a really versatile, really potent army. So, assuming that he feels comfortable enough against this counter-Hellion harass, this is just going to be... This is going to be a real doomful push, but... On the other hand, Taeja may get a little bit over-defensive and think to himself, you know, it's time to play responsibly, it's time to defend and macro up, and I think MarineKingPrime is really counting on that.
Yeah, there could be that coming out here. I mean, MarineKingPrime, with the positioning of his Hellions right now, is making Taeja, or is at least lulling him into a false sense of insecurity in this positioning, and you know, Taeja's going to be slightly hard-pressed to move out, maybe claiming his third and trying to do everything like that. So MarineKing's still posing that threat, and he's actually getting a lot of infrastructure back at home as MarineKing. This is getting out of hand for just a second, actually.
More factories going down. Tanks being produced. Hellions being added on. But a Banshee from Taeja is going to get the good old scout on everything that is up. Funny how one of the best responses to building a Banshee, or to facing a Banshee, is to build a Banshee. So we see Taeja doing... look at this MarineKingPrime doing the mass repair on the workers, trying to keep them alive, but I actually think that you should either run the workers or just let the workers die. This sort of like mass repairing... I mean, these workers aren't mining this whole time. So there's already hundreds of minerals of mining time lost.
Yeah, it's not a great position to be in. He saves 1 or 2 workers in the grand scheme of things, but it's not that much. He has nothing to shoot air until those 2 Vikings come out. So that 1 Banshee paying for itself pretty well. 12 kills, 13 kills, and done and done.
Now Taeja's going to be able to start to move out. Already has those Marauders in play, has the tanks, and can once again go all the way to his opponent's watchtower, and there's just not that much that MarineKingPrime can do about it. No siege mode, no blue flame down yet. Nice little spread from Taeja, checking up on all the corners to play defense mode. Will 2-2 begin? I mean, again, MarineKingPrime starting that now. I mean, it's early-ish, but I'm still so worried for MarineKing.
I can sympathize with you. It's a little bit worrying. He's getting a good composition up, but it's still, once the bio hits and once it starts exploiting the fact that it can be so versatile and so mobile, it's a little difficult for MarineKing to really combat against, because if he spreads himself too thinly, then he just gets picked apart, but if he spreads himself too clumped, then, you know, he still gets picked apart. So it's like a lose-lose situation sometimes for mech in this situation.
Well, right now, Taeja has played passively enough that MarineKingPrime might be able to overcome some of the early issues that his build's facing. I mean, we might even be able to see a mass 3-3 army out of MarineKingPrime, which is very rare to see. with mech, to be honest. So there's the stim, and Marine King is going to lose all of these Hellions in the middle of the map. Is he even going to escape with one of them? The answer is no, and that is a...
Ouch.
That is a big punch to the chest.
Yeah, and speaking from experience, you need those Hellion numbers to tank for when you actually engage with your siege tanks eventually. That's a big blow. That's a lot of hit points that is just melted away in those Hellions. And now, look at this, Taeja 25 supply up pretty much. He can push along the map. Actually, only 10 supply up right now. But he can still push along the map as Taeja is slightly supply blocked. And easily put on a lot of hurt against his opponent. But this is a good sensor tower placement, actually.
Really excellent sensor tower placement. Going to spot everything. Here comes MarineKingPrime with siege mode. He's sieging up. But like you were saying, without Hellions, he lost so many of them that now he has the opportunity to start darting up. There's there's nothing absorbing the damage, and MKP losing all the things.
All the things.
All the things are going down, and things are so critical for any build in StarCraft 2. This very, very bold 4th base from MarineKingPrime going down, and that is another way of declaring I have a 3rd base, so Taeja, no doubt, is going to be poisoning himself to assault that 3rd.
Yep, no reason not to. I mean, he has the army to. He's now very, very far up in terms of supply, rallying his units across the map. He realizes that he has a power of position, and he even has the air advantage. There's nothing. Poor MKP has to land his Viking, for Christ's sake. That's how much air advantage he had. Oh dear.
And now Taeja sieges up with only 3 Marauders to defend, but 3 is more than enough. He is in excellent position, and now we are seeing the scramble time for MarineKingPrime. He's going to even have to do some fairly sacrificial advancements forward. He's going to have to just get real close to those tanks. Hellion's doing a pretty nice job taking him out. You don't see that every day, but Marine King loses most of the Hellions yet again. A simple unsiege re-siege is more than enough to deal with it.
Yep, and for now, the Vikings still killing off more Marine Kings, ones that were coming in there. 3-3 is on the way for MarineKingPrime, but as you said, it's not really that useful if you don't actually have... Actually, you know, because he's so gas-starved, he would actually just be better cancelling those and making extra units. That's just... It's a bad situation to be in.
MKP losing the tanks. Oh, Taeja exchanging Vikings for tanks. A great move. In small numbers, mech is so weak, so easy to just annihilate with nice Marine Marauder aggression. And we're seeing Taeja explode into action now that he sees what position he's in. Taking a 4th and 5th at the same time. SCV production through the roof. Mineral income through the roof for LiquidTaeja. And now with more tanks, Marines Marauder stepping in, Marine King is just not looking so good.
It's interesting how Marine King just actually doesn't really build Marines too much in this matchup, apparently. He's happy to go into mech into mid and late game, and as such, you called it right, Sean. It doesn't really work too well on this map. So, and look at this, LiquidTaeja with his sensor tower. It's like that, you know, you get a sensor tower, I'll get a sensor tower, but normally it's not quite this far out, and Taeja claiming dominance, that's almost a mana sensor tower at this point.
Good old Manor Sensor Tower checking what's up. Easy control. I mean, you just look at what it can see. It can see exactly where units are positioned along that neck. So, Taeja just scans, goes straight for the 3rd base. What can you do as MarineKingPrime? You have to just sit there and embrace warmly this huge pack of damage. And, uh-oh, looks like Taeja spotting this. Gosh, MarineKingPrime being way too aggressive with his expanding. He's going to lose another command center mid-map. And there it goes down. Huge spread. Oh my god, look at that. Arcalaris just wrecking face.
Too much. MarineKingPrime, despite having Blue Flame Hellions, the arc was, as you said, so good that there was actually no unit behind units. So Blue Flame wasn't really all that useful whatsoever. And even a lot of Marauders in this composition as well, which were tanking a ton of that damage. So he actually has, yeah, every 18 Marauders, 18 Marines in this. So Taeja's maxing out very soon, and Marine King, great, he has 3-3, but I don't know if it's going to be too useful.
And of course, there's those things that you always say in theory. Taeja's showing it in practice. You always struggle with multi-pronged attack as mechs because it's hard to be in a lot of places at once, so there's the drop right into the main base. MarineKingPrime cannot reposition from defending his 3rd quickly enough, and there is the huge, oh, the GG Taeja dodges elimination again.
Wow.